to start the webinar now. Am I audible to everyone? You can raise your hands. All of you are requested, please, to mute your mic so that everybody can listen to me loud and clear. Greetings of the Diwali festival, which is just this week. So my warm greetings to all of you and your families, for this festival season. Today, friends, we have gathered here to discuss about, Vulnerability Atlas of India. It's a tool which can help all of you to design your, projects, structures, buildings, or any future activity which you would like to undertake. Based on the geoclimatic conditions of the area where you are doing that project. That is one thing. Secondly, we need to refer different codal provisions whenever we design. If you are an engineer, or an architect, normally suppose you go out, whenever you undertake a visit to suppose a foreign country or any place which is known to you, which is not known to you, normally you ask what is the weather there, and according to the weather you take your clothes. So similar thing happens to the project. Whenever you envisage any project or any GPR or any activities for that matter, you need to understand the geoclimatic conditions of that region, and based on those geoclimatic conditions you need to design or incorporate features which are complying with those geoclimatic conditions. Okay, and these geoclimatic conditions are divided into different categories, but today we will talk about geo-hazards, geo-natural hazards, mainly earthquakes, cyclone and wind, flood, landslide, thunderstorm. Okay, so all of you, most of you are working in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and you are on a daily basis, please mute your mic. We are hearing a lot of voices. So we have developed Vulnerability Atlas of India, which collates information which is available on Indian standards. Okay, whatever information we have, it is based on the authentic government published data, and government published data normally comes in National Building Code and other relevant codes of Bureau of Indian Standard. So all that data, all that data has been put on GIS platform, and we have produced Vulnerability Atlas of India. So, 45 minutes or so, I will show you the various features of Vulnerability Atlas of India. I will also tell you why hazard assessment is important for us, and then I will tell you how to use this Vulnerability Atlas. Okay, so I will just be sharing. My name is Shailesh Agrawal. I am Executive Director, Building Materials and Technology Promotion Council. And we also, through this seminar, I also urge all of you, we already, HFA Directorate, they have written to all of you. In fact, our regional directors of PMU are also, constantly following it up with all of you. You all need to register for e-course on Vulnerability Atlas of India. The fees is only 1,000 rupees, and get everything on a click of your mouse. And once you complete the course, you will get a certificate which is signed by me and Director School of Planning. Yeah. All of you are able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the Vulnerability Atlas of India, it's a tool for natural disaster prevention, preparedness, and mitigation for housing and related infrastructure. Before I get into the subject, let me just give you 5 pointers, and all of you might be aware of all these things. See, whenever India is struck by hazard, I will say, the earthquake or flood or cyclone, we always find that there are huge losses of life and property on account of this natural hazard. So naturally, we wonder why does it happen. If something comes in USA or California is most hazardous zone as far as earthquake is concerned, and I always give the example of Bhuj earthquake. In 2001 earthquake, is increasing. Most of the cities are expanding in floodplain areas. And friends, please understand that floodplain areas, like everybody is talking about Delhi Trans Yamuna area. So that is nothing but a floodplain of Yamuna. And what happens during earthquake, if earthquake comes, wherever we have soft soil, alluvial soil, or this floodplain, the earthquake waves get amplified. So the earthquake will be, will be felt more in areas which are floodplain. So we should not expand our habitat into these vulnerable areas. So you can get this information immediately from vulnerable without considering disaster resistant features. Like if we take the example of Delhi, all the buildings are tall and slender, and we do unauthorized expansions, alterations in buildings. So all these things make your building vulnerable as regards then vulnerable construction. It has been seen during earthquakes, past earthquakes, that these buildings are quite vulnerable to the earthquakes, leading to lottery. Also, when I talk about earthquake all the time, all of it will during our earthquake may never come. So normally we feel, we try to ignore, earthquake event, that it will not happen. The return period is 50 years. It came last when my grandfather was alive, and now it will come, I won't be here by that time. So that kind of ignorance and apathy, makes our structure more vulnerable. Okay. Then I also told you that non-engineered, this is just a misconception that whatever heritage buildings or the old structures we have, they are safer against earthquakes, floods, and those kind of things. But it is not. Like during Bhuj earthquake, it was found as a thick buildings, walls, thick walls. Even Latur, there was an earthquake, and all traditional buildings, fell like fell like a pack of cards. Okay, so non-engineered construction is quite unsafe. And this also I covered that we are adopting structurally unsound practices, and most of the buildings are vertically extended without seeking the help of professionals. So those things are to be avoided. Okay, so these are the why do we have huge higher losses of life and property. Now let me tell you that on one hand we have this thing, but the scenario is altogether different. We have beautiful technical framework available in India. In India, we have number of standards on which covers extensively how to assess hazard, how to construct building which is hazard resistant. All these things exist, and India can boost to have explain. Now we have Disaster Management Act, we have National Policy on Disaster Management, and recently in 2016, disaster management plan has also been put by NDMA, and all the state governments have been asked to prepare their disaster management plan. And you come from a state, all the states, then at district level and at each organization level, we need to have disaster management. Sorry, I was muted. Okay, so we have disaster management. What I was trying to tell you, that during earthquake, the philosophy of earthquake design is zero loss of life. So if you go to NDMA website, you will find for earthquake, whenever we design, there should not be any loss to life. So that is the kind of design philosophy we need. Okay. Second. Okay, this I already told you that there is poor availability of knowledge. This is also the fact. All of us are quite well aware of the things, but despite of all these things, we are not very well aware about the hazard scenario, how to incorporate hazard resistant features in our DPRs and other designs. Okay. Then all these states, the Ministry of Urban Development, they have come out with the building bylaws, and in building bylaws, model building bylaws. And each state, they have their own land use, planning, zoning, all kinds of bylaws. And in these bylaws we have a dedicated chapter on disaster management and mitigation. Okay, but despite of all these things, implementation of these laws are not up to the mark. Okay, and we don't have adequate mechanism, and that is why we are organizing this kind of webinars. We will be talking to to all of you on a regular basis, on a fortnightly basis, on a monthly basis. The message goes up to the last level. What happens? Suppose I give you something, I tell you something, but it doesn't pass to the artisans who are actually constructing the building. So the message should go up to the last. Please mute your mic, please, all of you. Please, I request you to mute your mic. I'm listening your awkward voices time and again. Okay, so now let me tell you, if we talk about hazard vulnerability in India, 50% of land area is vulnerable to earthquake, 18% of land area is vulnerable to high wind velocity, which is 50 and 55 meter per second, and 7% area of Indian subcontinent is vulnerable to floods. And every, if we talk about damages, every year more than 1 million houses are damaged annually. And in addition to, you all know the kind of, losses, psychological and other kind of losses and loss to property we suffer on account of these earthquakes. And please understand, I am talking only about natural hazards. I'm not talking about man-made hazards or biological hazards or other kind of hazards. I'm talking about only natural hazards. Yeah. Okay, this already I covered that all these documents are available on the websites of NDMA. We have disaster management policy for disaster management. We have National Disaster Management Plan of 2016. Also internationally, every 15 years we have, recently Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction was, and all these frameworks or all these acts which have been enacted and put in place by Government of India or internationally, all of these policies clearly say that we need to bring a paradigm shift in disaster risk management. What is a paradigm shift? Normally what happens after earthquake, we say, "Arey bhaiya, why does it happen?" That is called reactive, reaction to a disaster. That is to be changed to proactive, proactive disaster measures, means prevention. As always said in disaster management, prevention is better than cure. So instead of being a reactive society, we have to be proactive society. And how do we become proactive society? We can become proactive society by incorporating, any new structure which you design, or any new DPR, for example, you envisage or you plan to, formulate any new project, incorporate all features, based on geoclimatic conditions of that area. And the advantages or the advantage to us is that all this information is available, at the click of the mouse. So all you have to do is refer. You need to have adequate knowledge and you need to know what is to be referred. Okay, and vulnerability can, serve as a very handy tool if you want to see all these things at one place. Also, all of you will know, because I just thought I will tell you that sustainable development goal is being talked about time and again. And one of the goals says that make cities and human settlers inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So resilience can be incorporated by invoking what I told you, Vulnerability Atlas of India, or, looking at the hazard and incorporating those figures. Now, this has been, BMTPC's, I would say, one of the unique document which was produced by BMTPC. And, whenever we have census, after every census, we try to publish Vulnerability Atlas of India, because in every census we have, changed demographic data as well as housing data. So the first was published in 1997, which was, based on census data 1991, then Vulnerability Atlas in 2006, and now we have, this already I told you that Atlas has served as a useful tool for proactive pre-disaster prevention and mitigation strategy for the government. And this has won several awards. And now Professor Arya, who is no more, he was the chairman, and he helped us a lot in formulating all these vulnerability atlas. And as you can see, we have representation from all the organizations who are authorized by Government of India to undertake research, development, and to publish data on these hazards. Okay, so now this is the third edition, which is based on 2016. So now we have a third edition of Vulnerability Atlas of India, which was released in 2019. And this document is quite bulky. So our secretary suggested that it should, you should publish it on a digital platform. So I'm so happy to share with all of you that on 2nd of March 2019, this Vulnerability Atlas of India digital edition was, released by Honorable Prime Minister of India during GSTC event. I will just show you a small film on that also. But before that, I want to say that digital edition means now you can just go to our website, bmtpc.org, or you can go to Ministry's website, or you can go to the website of GSTC India, and on a click of a mouse, Okay, you can access vulnerability atlas of India, and then you can access your state, your district. Up to district level we have digitized hazard. Okay, so you can get hazard information, you can get housing information. I will show you all those things. So what does vulnerability atlas of India has? It has digitized hazard zone maps of earthquakes, wind, cyclones, and floods. It has digitized incidence maps of landslides and thunderstorm, and up to district levels we are giving district wise tables, risk damage risk tables of existing housing as per census data. So before I go into that, I will just like to show you a film of 2 minutes, because it was a proud moment for all of us, for BMTPC and from our ministry also, that our digital version of our atlas was released by Honorable Prime Minister. So just
the third edition of Vulnerability Atlas of India is collation of the existing hazard scenario for the entire country and presents the digitized state and UT-wise hazard maps with respect to earthquakes, winds and floods for district-wise identification of vulnerable areas. The edition contains additional digitized maps for thunderstorms, cyclones and landslides. The atlas also presents the district-wise housing vulnerability risk tables based on wall types and roof types as per 2011 census housing data. The atlas is a useful tool not only for public but also for urban managers, state and national authorities dealing with disaster mitigation and management.
कंस्ट्रक्शन की दुनिया से जुड़े कोई भी, सिर्फ बिल्डिंग नहीं, कोई भी, इवन पाइपलाइन डालने वाले, गैस की पाइपलाइन डालने वाले भी इस एटलास को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही अपनी योजना करें। और मैं तो सरकार को भी कहूंगा कि अंदर अपनी टेंडर सिस्टम में भी इसका रेफरेंस लाना चाहिए कि आपने इस एटलास को स्टडी किया है, जहां पर आप काम करने वाले हो, इस एटलास में जिन चीजों को बताया गया है उसको आप कैसे एड्रेस करने वाले हो। हिंदुस्तान के किसी भी डिपार्टमेंट है, राज्य सरकारों का भी, तब जा करके ये स्टेटस आएगा।
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So as you see, what the Honorable Prime Minister said, that Vulnerability Atlas of India should come also in tender documents. So, I just want to say a few words here that, whenever a tender is floated, normally we write that our building or our structure need to be compliant with existing standards. Normally we write National Building Code or existing standards. So now we have also prepared a clause which, which says that, Vulnerability Atlas of India need to be referred. Okay, so that clause also we have circulated to all the state governments and have asked, line departments to incorporate them in their tenders. Okay, that is one thing. Secondly, as I've been repeatedly telling you, any new activities, if really we want to build a new young India or a resilient India, we need to refer all the documents related with hazards so that we can assess the hazard before starting a new activity. And to assess that hazard, instead of going to, different codes, because for wind we have a separate code, for earthquake we have a separate code, for landslides we have a separate code, for risk assessment we have a separate code, for structures, reinforced structures we have a separate code, for steel we have a separate code. All this information related with hazard and the existing housing information is available on Vulnerability of Atlas of India, and that too digitally. So you can always refer this Vulnerability Atlas of India and incorporate in your future activities. So that is what I wanted to tell you. So that is why it is so important. And the moment you put Vulnerability Atlas of India in your tender document or in your DPR, you have taken a proactive action to incorporate hazard resistant features in whatever activities you are going to undertake. Okay, so what does Vulnerability Atlas of India contain? It contains earthquake hazard maps, both India and state-wise. So suppose you click India map, you will get India and all states. If you click a state map, you will get a state map and with digitized district. I will show you all those things. Similarly, we have wind hazard maps for India and the state. We have, there are 14 states and UTs which are prone to flood. So we have a flood hazard maps for entire India and 14 states which are prone to floods. Then for landslides, we don't have landslide hazard map because the committee of experts decided, let us, graphically represent landslide incidents. Let us put all landslides which have occurred in India in last 50 to 60 years on a India map and just give it, because that information will be useful for a person who is, trying to build a structure or a DPR, considering a DPR to understand that landslide has occurred in this area. Okay, then we have also given, our coastal region. We have a huge coastal line, and some of you are from those coastal regions. So what we have done, especially this is a new addition in this Vulnerability Atlas of India, we have given cyclone occurrence map with average maximum sustained wind. You need not bother about this complicated term. This will be understood by structural engineers, because this is required when we design a structure in cyclone prone areas. Okay, and you will be surprised to note that thunderstorms also cause a lot of destruction and loss to life and property. So this time, this is also a new addition in Vulnerability Atlas of India. We have given a thunderstorm incidence map of the India. And the last thing which we have given, which is again unique to this Vulnerability Atlas, for each district. Suppose you come from a district, suppose you are from Lucknow, or suppose you are from Haridwar district of Uttarakhand. So you can just go to that district and get the entire information about the number of existing houses, how they are categorized into 3 or 4 categories, which I will show you, and what would be the damage risk level in the event of an earthquake. Okay, so those vulnerability tables up to district level are given in our Vulnerability Atlas of India. Okay, this is just a slide to show you that I have been talking to you about hazard, and you might be wondering, what is this hazard? Hazard is something, this is a probability of occurrence of an event, and these event, if you can see in this earthquake, tsunami, flood, cyclone, landslide, and this thing. Now these are natural things, so you cannot control it. Suppose I'm talking to you, an earthquake can come here anytime, and we don't know. Yeah. Similarly, like India is quite susceptible to earthquakes. So earthquakes can come anytime. So that is the hazard. So our exposure to hazard is high. Okay. But if we, increase our capacity to cope with hazard, what will happen? We can always minimize the risk. So that is what this table shows. We are, we are blessed. We are Indians. We live in this Indian subcontinent, but unfortunately, Indian subcontinent is quite vulnerable or exposed to hazards, high hazards, high risk hazards like earthquakes and all. So that cannot be controlled, but it can be controlled, by building capacities, and those capacities we can build by incorporating features, by increasing the vulnerable, by lowering down the vulnerability of our structures, and that can be done by incorporating resting features. So maybe the hazard may be high. So this graph, if you see, hazard may be high, but if we have capacities high, our structures will show low vulnerability. So this lecture is all about this. If we can, increase our capacities by learning these useful tools, by incorporating this hazard assessment information, and by incorporating, those codal provisions which make our structures disaster resilient, we can always have low vulnerability, and that will, put our structures during earthquakes to minimum losses. Okay, so this is about earthquakes. All the time I've been telling you that we live in a continent which is prone to earthquakes, and this slide shows because in below, after the ground we have a crust. Okay, and that crust, there are tectonic plates. So our tectonic plates, Indian plate, is constantly moving towards Eurasian plate, and because of that, Himalayan region is quite prone to earthquakes, and all the earthquakes, because of this constant movement of our plate, tectonic plate, towards Eurasian plate, the Indian region is susceptible or vulnerable to earthquake. Okay, so now I will explain you earthquake, landslides, wind and flood maps one by one. So if you look at there is a Indian standard, as I've been telling you, the information, whatever information we have in Vulnerability Atlas of India, it is not our information. This is the information which is given in Indian standards, or this is the information which is published by the departments, who are authorized by Government of India to undertake studies and publish data on those, like IMD. Okay, like GSI, Geological Survey of India, Indian Meteorological Department, similarly Central Water Commission. So these are the departments who are responsible for doing R&D, undertake work, doing instrumentation and publish data. So this is the map which is given in IS 1893. Okay, this is zone 5. Now this is this is zone 4. You can see here. This is zone 3. So this is the map which is given in Indian standard. And now what we have done is we have digitized. Please, I request all of you again to mute yourself. Okay. So what we have done is what I showed you in the previous slide, I will again show you. This is the map which is given in National Building Code. And what we have done, we have taken this map on a GIS platform, digitized this map, and this is the map which we have produced in our Vulnerability Atlas of India. So, this is the map for India. Suppose you want to see any district and the earthquake hazard of that district, you can go to that district and, assess the hazard. In this map, you are not able to see that your districts, but in this map, you can, suppose you are from Uttarakhand. So just click on Uttarakhand, you will get the entire state map, and then you can see your district. And when you click the district, you will get the district, damage risk table of housing for that district. So this is, this is very handy, and entire information is available here. I will just try to show you, try to explain you also what all other information is available on this map. So from this map, you can see 11.3% area is vulnerable is falling in 5, 14.4% is falling in zone 3, zone 4, and 31.1% is falling in zone 3. Okay. And now this hazard map contains, quite a useful information, which is quite useful. May not be useful for you, but will be useful for, suppose you have to design a dam, or you have to design a very important installation like a nuclear power plant. Honorable Prime Minister also talked about, pipelines. Pipelines go from, one place to other place, running several hundreds of kilometers, pipelines taking, oil and all. So suppose you have to design a pipeline and all. So for those design, you need to, refer all this information, what are the faults, where earthquake has come, all those information is available on these maps, and that is, put here. Our maps contain, not only seismic zones, but it also contains state boundaries as per Survey of India data. Again, I have been telling you time and again that being government department, we have just put the data which is, authentic and which is, published by the department responsible and, authorized by Government of India to publish that data. So state boundaries have been taken from Survey of India. Then we have also tried to put, history of earthquake is sometimes very important. So epicenters of all earthquakes of 5 and above have been, put. You see these dots here. So these all are earthquakes which have occurred, and this data has been taken from IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, which publishes this data. Also, this faults I've been talking about, when you design a very important structure like dam, nuclear power plant, then you need to refer the seismotectonic details, which have been taken from GSI. And apart from this, we have included housing data and population data, which has been taken from census data 2011. Also, this time, again, a new addition in our Vulnerability Atlas of India 2019, railway, the lines we have incorporated, the rivers in your state, you can find the golden expressways and national highways also. So this is just to show you the larger map. So this was the India map, and if you click to any state, you will. So this is a Gujarat map. I'm showing you Gujarat map because Gujarat has all the 4 zones. This is zone 2, this is zone 3, this is zone 4, and this is that red area is reddish area which you see is the Bhuj area where 2001 26 January earthquake came. Like this, you have a state map, and what you see in capital letters, these are the districts of Gujarat. So once you click a district of Gujarat, you will get into that district to know its housing data, its vulnerability of housing, existing houses, and the hazard information. Okay, so from this you can immediately find out the hazard. So again, this is a map of Bihar. Yeah, Bihar. So again, in Bihar, we have all the 3 zones, 3, 4, 5. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So this was all about earthquakes. And as I told you, these maps, state maps with the state boundaries, then we have district boundaries, then all districts, then we have, all earthquakes, major even major earthquakes like Bihar, there was a 1934 earthquake, then 1950 earthquake. So all these earthquakes have also been plotted. We have also plotted all faults. We have also plotted, railway lines and highways, national highways crossing that state, and also we have put all the faults in that region. And all the earthquake information is also available. You can see here so many earthquakes came in this region, so these are shown here. Now let me move to wind map. Wind is also very important. Suppose you are designing a high-rise structure, or if you are in a coastal region or near coastal region. So our national there is a code, Indian standard IS 875 part 4 part 2. I think part 2. Yeah. Okay, so that says that India is divided into 6 wind zones, and those zones. This is a map from National Building Code. So what you see in Indian standard is this map, which divides India into these 6 zones, and these zones are 33 meter per second, 39 meter per second, 44 meter per second, 7 meter per second, 50 meter per second, and 55. So 55 being the highest, and this is in the coastal regions, okay, on the higher altitude areas, okay. And now what we have done is we have again taken this India map on a GIS platform, and up to district level we have tried to provide information as regards wind speeds, okay. And again the data for wind speed has been taken from Indian standards and the data from IMD, Indian Meteorological Department. So, and also we have tried to put the information on the severe cyclones and cyclones which have occurred in the area. So this is just information that during 1891 to 2017, whatever cyclones have taken place, we have tried to put their numbers in this map. Okay, so what does wind hazard map contains? It contains wind zoning as per National Building Code, and then it has state boundaries as per Survey of India data. Then it has cyclonic storm data. And you know what happens if you are in a coastal region? Storm surge is also very important. So we have given the data on storm surges also, and housing and population data is also being given. So just to show you, that was the India map, and then we have state map. So this is the map of Tamil Nadu, which you see here. Okay, so this is Tamil Nadu. Then you can see this is the map of Gujarat. This is the map of Gujarat. Okay, as regards wind, and then this and this is the map of Bihar. Okay, as regards wind. Now, this year, as I told you, that coastal region is quite prone to cyclones. So we have, specifically added additional map of India for the coastal region. So, and this coastal map, you can see here, the entire coastal region is again plotted, and what we have done is we have plotted maximum sustained wind speed, which is called MSW, that can affect the coastal region of India. And this is plotted for the whatever data was available from IMD from 1891 to 2008. Also, what you see here, this is nothing but the cyclonic storm and severe cyclonic storm which have crossed 1 degree latitude in the coastal region as per state. So this is again a very useful information if you are thinking of having a structure in this region to take the wind speed and cyclonic storm history from this map. Okay, then flood map is not as of now, it is not updated. So whatever information was made available from Central Water Commission, that information we have put, and flood map only tells you the flood proneness of that state or at that district, whether it is prone to floods or not. Okay, so this is the India map, and then you can see here. So whatever the yellow region you see here, this blue thing is the rivers in that state, and this yellow region, whatever yellow part you see, that is prone to flood. Okay, and flood hazard map consists of area which are liable to flood as per flood atlas. Then it shows the rivers. It also shows probable maximum surge height. Okay, then state boundaries and housing data and population data. Okay, as per census. So just a closer look. This is a state map again. You can see. Okay. Okay, this is a Gujarat map. Okay, then this is a Bihar flood map. As I told you that the yellow region is prone to floods. Okay, then we have, as I was telling you, that we have again a new addition to our vulnerability atlas of India. This is a landslide incidence map of India, and what we have done is you see these red dots. These red dots are the landslides which have occurred in this in the region. Okay, so we have just tried to put landslides which have occurred. There are 10,000 around 10,000 landslide data which was given by Geological Survey of India, and that data has been plotted on the India map. And you know, whenever we talk about landslide, and landslides normally come in the hilly regions, so landslides are always connected with the rainfall. So what we have done is we have also put annual state rainfall normals. So what you see, these colors are the annual state rainfall of that state, which is again taken from IMD, and state boundaries and those things. So this is just a map because hilly regions, as I told you, are more prone to landslides. So this is Uttarakhand, where so many landslides have come. So all those landslides have been put here, and we have put the annual rainfall normals also. And this is for Himachal Pradesh. Then this time IMD was of the opinion that we should also add thunderstorm incidence map, because thunderstorms also cause loss of life and loss of property rather, and there have been recurrent occurrence of the thunderstorms in India. So this is just a thunderstorm incidence map, again based on IMD data. Okay, now this was all about the maps, so you can just refer the vulnerability atlas of India and get the information about these hazards. And as I told you, we are talking about only these hazards. These are natural geohazards which we are talking about. Okay, then in addition to these maps, our vulnerability atlas of India also give you district wise housing tables. And what we have done is we have divided the entire India. See, if you look at the housing data of census divides the entire data into based on two categories. One is based on the wall types, whether your wall is kacha, whether your wall is pakka. If it is kacha, if it is pakka, then whether it is ordinary brick building, or whether it is a reinforced building, or is it a other material. So based on that wall type, housing category, existing housing stock is categorized by census. Similarly, based on roof type, if your roof type is kacha, whether it is sloping roof or it is a pakka RCC roof, just based on that roof type, existing housings are categorized. And based on this, you can always project the damage risk level depending upon your wall types and depending upon your roof type. You can always qualitatively you can know the damage risk. Suppose if you are a kacha house, then kacha house in zone 5 will have very high damage risk as regards earthquake. So these are the damage risks to earthquakes, these are the damage risks to windstorm. So again, this is based on the expert's opinion. We have qualitatively assessed, and this is based on floods. So this is that table which says that if the category is A and if you are in zone 4, then your house may have a high damage risk. I will show you with this data. Okay. Now, if you are able to see this, you can see here that based on wall types, we have categories A, B, and C. Similarly, based on roof types, we have category R1, R2, and R3. So suppose you are in zone 5, and if your house is unburned brick wall house, then you have a very high damage risk. So immediately you can refer this table, and if you see that you are constructing a house with unburned brick, then your house is susceptible to very high risk. So what is to be done? If it is very high risk zone, then you have to incorporate resisting features for which there are standards available. Okay. So from this is the table for entire India, and similar tables we have produced not only for states but also up to district. For each state we have produced these tables up to district level. I will just show you close up. Yeah. So this is a close up. So immediately from this table you can find out in your state how much area is falling in zone 5, how much area is falling in zone 4, and how much area is falling in zone 3. So this is that percentage, and depending upon the category. Okay, so most of the houses in India are of category B, burnt brick walls. So I will just try to show you. Okay, so most of the categories in India is B, which is burnt brick wall. So this category is a very high risk during earthquake. Okay. So this is how you can see and refer these tables. Okay, just to show you, if you have a concrete structure, then this may have in zone 5, it may have a medium damage risk. Okay. So very, very simple to see. Also, these tables give you maximum probable precipitation as regards, rainfall. So immediately the information on rainfall for that region you can see. So these are the table just to show you. Again, a table from Gujarat. So this is for the entire state. This is the table, and from this table, all this information, you can just by looking at this, you can get the information. So it's very handy, and without any reference, you can just refer this. So this is for entire state, and this is again district-wise information. So this is suppose for the entire state. In the entire state, we have around 50 million houses, and suppose we go to this, district. So this is the housing information, and these are the damage risk levels which are given in this table. Okay, so again, district tables. Suppose this is a Bihar. This is for entire state, and this is for the districts. So for all states, district-wise tables are given. So this is just an example to show you how to read this table. As I told you that you can find out the percentage area which is falling in zone 5, zone 4, or zone 3, or in zone 2. Then you can get the information on existing housing types and their categories, that how many houses are in category A, category B, and category C. And category A, B, C are very well explained in this table. And depending upon the category, you can know the risk of damage from earthquake, from wind cyclone, and from flood. So first categorize the kind of house you are having, and then based on the hazard, whether it is an earthquake prone area or wind prone area or flood prone area, you can assess the risk of damage. And nowadays there is a new concept of multi-hazard. You may not have only earthquake, you may have earthquake and cyclone together in your region, or you can have all the 3 hazard, or you can have more hazard in the region. So multi-hazard assessment is also very important. So this table is very handy in understanding the multi-hazard of that region. Okay, so this was all about Vulnerability Atlas of India, and I just try to put what are the activities or areas in which Atlas can help you. So it can help you in formulating development plans. It can help you in constructing, having hazard resistant construction. I repeatedly have been telling that any new structure, any new activity you envisage or take, or any new DPR, or any new project, or any new tender you float, try to incorporate, hazard resistant features, or codal provisions on Vulnerability Atlas in your activity or in your endeavor. Okay, and whatever existing buildings, those need to be studied, those need to be retrofitted. So that is also a huge task which is to be taken by the different states which are falling in the earthquake zone. Also, it can help you in warning system, it can help you in training of manpower, and this is an effort from us to train all of you to get the information on hazard. Okay, then implementation of land use zoning map. Okay. So this, I think, I will just show you this. So whenever you are doing a project, what are the challenges? You have to, properly assess the risk, and Vulnerability Atlas can help you in that. It can also help you in land use zoning. It can also help you in selection of a suitable site, configuration of building, choices of materials and technology. And then based on that information, you need to go to a structural engineer or a qualified civil engineer who can design your building based on the relevant provisions. It can also help the respective state governments and CLTCs and SLTCs in strengthening your techno-legal regime with respect to hazard, and also awareness generation. I expect all of you to train beneficiaries. We have more than 50% houses being constructed under beneficiary-led construction under PMAY. So you need to generate awareness amongst beneficiaries and other the field officers regarding this hazard assessment, and at least refer this tables. Okay. So this is again what is required to be done. I think I explained to you that most of the government schemes need to incorporate these disaster resistant technologies in public buildings, and for existing buildings there is need to do the retrofitting on all these relevant acts, regulations, and bylaws must be amended to have appropriate provisions for safety and natural hazards. Okay, and as friends, I have been telling you, this is very easy. Please note this down. You can just go to my website, and on the front page only, there is a. Can we show that? there is a scroll where it is written third edition of Vulnerability Atlas of India. So you just press third edition of Vulnerability Atlas. I will show you also. So you will get that, and then you can access the map. This is also available on our ministry's website and also at the GSTC India website. So the moment you access our third Vulnerability Atlas of India, you will be welcome. You will be welcomed with this screen. So this screen is again self-explanatory. It says Vulnerability Atlas of India. Then you go to earthquake hazard map. So you will get earthquake. Just click on earthquake hazard map. You will get earthquake hazard map. And on the left-hand side, you find all the state and UTs. Okay, so you click any state. Suppose you click Assam, and you will get a map of Assam. And the moment you click Assam, you will get all the districts of that Assam on the right-hand side. Okay, so you click on any district, you will get that district. So it's so simple. So this was about earthquake. Similarly, you can see wind hazard. This is again earthquake. This is again earthquake, just to show you example. Uttarakhand. Now again, similarly for wind hazard, you click on wind, you get the India map. On left hand side, you get all the states. Click any state, you get the state map. Then right hand side, you have all districts. You click any district, you get the tables. Similarly, this is again the maps. This similarly for flood, you click on flood, you get all the states on one side, and on the right hand side, you get districts. Okay, so these are the maps. It's very simple. You can see it here. Okay, so these are the flood maps, landslide maps. Similarly, landslide maps. So it's very simple. Just go to our website and try to access all these maps. And you can download all these maps also. Okay. Now let me come to the most important part of our lecture or this webinar. I just wanted to tell you that we want all of you, our ministry, HFA Directorate, and even our secretary wrote to Chief Secretary, then our Joint Secretary wrote to all the SLNAs, and we personally requested all of you, and I'm sure Sunil and other PMU, regional coordinators are attending this webinar. They have been following it up with you. You all need to register for this e-course on Vulnerability Atlas of India. Advantage is, once you click on this e-course, you register for this course and try to take this course. It's a very simple course, and in a very simple manner, we have tried to explain all these things, and we have also tried to give you a lot of literature in this e-course where you can understand. Suppose you want to have hazard resistant features with respect to earthquakes. So what is the data available? What are the codes available? And all those all that information is available on this vulnerability course. And this course we have started with the School of Planning and Architecture. And once you complete, there is no time foundation. There are 7 modules. You can assess yourself. There is a self-assessment, and after taking up the course, you will be given a MCQ type questionnaire. Once you take up that questionnaire, you can pass and get the marks. You can pass it successfully, then you will get a certificate. So it's a very simple thing, and I encourage all of you to take this course. And this is what Prime Minister told you. I think we showed you the video also. And this was again, this was the launch of e-course by our Honorable Minister along with our Secretary. And this I don't need to explain you. I think picture. So I will just show you a picture. This is again just this is about e-course. So you can have a basic understanding of earthquake, flood, and cyclone resistant. You can also understand about the disaster mitigation features. There are 7 modules in this course. Okay. Okay. And these are the salient features. The fees is only 1,000 rupees, and our secretary, asked us to, because of COVID thing, and we thought that we should, reduce the fees, and anyone can take this course. So this is on successful completion. You can get the certificate, and this course is available on your on our website. You can go to WSPA website, or you can go to ecourse.bmtpc.org website. So all these websites, you can go to second website, ecourse.bmtpc.org, and register yourself. Okay. So this is all, but I'll just show you another film. Yes, I will leave you with this film. This is just a film. Last, let us see. Thank you, one and all. And with this, I think we have come to the end of this webinar. And because there are so many participants, so what I will ask you all, if you have any questions, you can write to me. You can write my email ID, ska@bmtpc.org. I will be able to answer your question. And I think most of you know us, or otherwise you can, direct your questions to PMU, and we will try to answer each one of you. And in case you have any difficulty in getting registered or getting access to this vulnerability of Atlas of India, please let me know. Okay. Thank you very much, one and all. Thank you very much also for attending in such a large number. And please do propagate this message that we have this beautiful document to others in your state and to your other colleagues as well. Thank you.